Hey, what's going on, Golferos? Welcome back to Salud Golferos, the podcast. This is going to be a really cool one, an interesting one. I'm the dumbest guy in the room today because we're hanging out with some guys here that are in the tech space. This is up Raul's alley, so really exciting.
Yeah, I was stoked about this one.
Yeah, dude, this is going to be a fun one because I've already heard some of the stories, so I'm really pumped and excited to get into this one. Who do we have? We have Hercules,
What's
the
up,
founder
guys?
of TXT, and he'll explain a little bit what we got going on there. And then we have a member of TXT. We have Edgar. We got
Hello,
a youth.
everyone.
We got a youth in here. So thank you guys for being on the podcast, and really excited to learn about TXT.
Thank you for having us. It's amazing to be able to work with you guys.
Heck yeah!
Hey, we're looking forward to it because I know this is just going to be the first step in hopefully working a long relation with TXT. I love what you guys are doing, Hercules.
You know, I'm excited. Hello, everyone, again. What's up? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well out there. I'm Hercules here, the CEO and founder of Urban Teens Exploring Technology. But I'm excited to work with Los Golferos. I got into golf myself a few months ago, about 5 months ago. So I'm excited about this relationship.
yeah, we got
I'm
another
excited.
one.
Yeah, I'm excited about everything you guys are doing and the culture, bringing it to golf. So this is really cool. So Los Golferos, I'm happy to be here with you all.
Heck yeah, man! No, thank you. We appreciate that. And so, for our listeners, followers, why are we talking about tech and how are we getting into this conversation and how does it relate to Los Golferos? Well, as you mentioned, you got into golf, right? And golf has, we always tell people that golf can lead you to different places that you never expected. So guys, here's just another example of that. But
Yeah.
big important topic of today is talking about TXT and what you guys are doing. Let's just start off there. Hercules, can you explain what exactly TXT is?
Give us the origin story.
All right. So, what is TXT? Our full name is Urban TXT, Urban Techs. What are we doing? We're really empowering young Black and Latino boys to become technology entrepreneurs, and most important, to go out into the world and solve real world problems, like community problems. So, throughout the entire summer, we start with a summer program, which is 10 weeks. During that summer program, we ask the boys to come up or think about a problem that they have in their communities. What is a problem they can be facing at this moment in time? And then how can you use technology to solve that problem? So over the summer, we have 10 startups, man. I mean, 10 startups.
Whoa.
From the inner city, 10 startups from kids that are 14 through 18 years old, and they're launching their products. They pitch in front of investors. Google comes over and sees them pitch. Salesforce, comes over. Venture fund managers come over and see them pitch. So it's really awesome to see that TXT is changing the lives of so many young men that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to get into tech or to doing their own startups.
Yeah, no, that's freaking awesome. And honestly, like I'm lucky in my life that, I have my dad who had his own business. And so I never realized how beneficial that skill set is. So I went into school and earned a business degree, and I had the opportunity to do presentations to angel investors and things like that. And it came natural to me because I had that skill set from my dad at a young age. And now you're passing that along to this next generation.
I got professors from USC, Chapman University, who come in, and when they see the program, when they see this young man, they'll say, this is really a mini MBA program.
Yeah.
It's 8 weeks. They're collecting data. They're analyzing products. They're looking at competition. They're looking at budgets. They're looking
Strategic mindset.
Everything, man. Everything that you need to do to be able to be successful, whether you want to go to college or start your own business or do whatever you want to do. The mentality,
Opening
the
the
skill
doors.
sets will get you to any place you want to get you to.
Well, Hercules, you just hit the nail right in the head because look, this is where you hit it off right off the bat. I think one of the biggest misnomers that we have, especially in the Latino community, look, and for better or for worse, I see it as well intended. Mijo, you have to focus in school. Just do school. Yeah. You're going to go to college. You're going to graduate college. We put so much focus just on college, but we don't nurture innovation. We don't nurture creativity.
Correct.
How many of the big founders of these mega corporations nowadays went to college for like 2 weeks, dropped out, and they said like, hey, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm going to go start this app. I'm going to go start this software. I'm going to go start this revolution in many cases. And that's one of the big things you and I, when we started talking last week, it's a culture that has really good sentiment in mind, but we haven't modernized it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things in the Latino community. Look, especially for the younger folks and the parents of the younger folks that follow us on Los Golferos, encouraging your kids to be disruptors is probably the most important thing we can do.
Yeah.
College, beautiful thing, but it's not the only thing.
You know, well, before I mean, can you tell me what you've learned? Like, what are your startups?
Yeah,
you won first.
let us know. Let us know, bro.
You won first place. So we have a demo day at the end of the summer. So you have 300 people, right, at this auditorium at USC. And people come from all over the place, from Silicon Valley, from LA. They come to watch them pitch. And this summer, Edgar won first place this summer.
My God.
Yeah.
So they'll get a chance to get like $3,000 and then launch their app and do all that stuff and get partnerships. So I'll let them tell why or how did you guys win what is it? What is it? Tell us.
Well, if I can interrupt quickly though.
Yeah, that's fine.
So how did you get into this program first, and then how did that lead to that? Let's hear that first.
So when I got into the program, I was introduced by a couple of friends. We all went to a meeting, which one of the previous cohort managers, which they helped run the program, they were able to introduce me. I signed up. I was lucky enough to get in. And coming in, I didn't know what to expect. I was really shy. Like, I didn't know a lot how to speak at all.
And now you're on a podcast.
Yeah, now I'm on a podcast, right? But then, like, the change from going in and coming out, like, that passion that I gained, right, to be able to do more work, my grades shot up, like, watching as all of this, because I gained more discipline. Because the program, it's about technology, but it's also about teaching us leadership skills. It taught me how to be more disciplined, how to manage my time, taught me how to present, which incredibly important.
That's a big skill set that a lot of kids don't have and they're afraid of. So yeah,
and then
for sure.
Coming back, being able to come back a second summer, I put all those skills in, and that was what helped me and my team win our app. Which our app is about focusing on helping people who in your local community who might be growing. Let's say, do you have any produce, or do you grow anything?
Bro, you should see the
loaded question.
Yeah.
If
I'm the son of a farmer, bro.
Oh, wow.
That's a super loaded question there.
Yeah. So lemons, guayabas, whatever you need, we got a produce store back there.
All right.
Through our app, you'll be
Chiles.
able to sell like those produce to people local to you. So then you could make a couple extra revenue source, like right on the side, you know. And it's not to focus on like not take away from your own job, but just so then you can help out and get and build that community between you and your friends, family, right, your neighbors.
Yeah.
And then having like that passive revenue stream, right?
Yeah.
Side
Can be
hustles.
really
what do we
good.
talk about?
Yeah.
Side hustles all the time.
Yeah.
I was about to say one of the key things that you called out there is that like not to take away from your normal job. So essentially you've created an app that acts as your admin to get your produce out there, and it's basically just like, oh yeah, come pick it up, and like that's really cool, man.
You know what? When they told me about it, it just clicked with me. So they have to come up with like 100 ideas. One of the exercises, you got to go home and you got to think about 100 problems you want to solve in the community, and then from there you got to come up with one. So they came up with this one, but when they talked to me about it, what got me real quick was that I mean, still in South Central LA, we're in South Central LA. So still here in South Central LA, you walk down the street and you see guayabas on the floor.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
you see granadillas on the floor, limones,
all the time.
Fruta perdida all the time. It means going. So,
I may have or may have not stumbled across the streets of South LA looking for more limes because we ran out of the Corona ones. It's like I remember seeing a tree across the street, bro. I'm gonna go get some real fast.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So then they built this, and I was like, that makes sense. So many people were wasting food, we're wasting fruit. So many people can be trading that with each other, or can be selling it to other people. So they have a solution. Can I segue to the question you asked me about?
Definitely.
Yeah, because I think that's a very important question. You said something that what was the word you used? I think you said we're not we're not innovating, right?
Not disrupting.
We're
Yeah,
not
not
disrupting.
disrupting,
So
yeah.
we're not disrupting. And to your point, one of the comments that I came to realize more so kind of hit me in my face about 3 years ago, or during the pandemic, I should say, is that inherently or in our DNA for Latinos, for the Latino community, I strongly now believe that we are actually the best entrepreneurs in the world.
Oh, 100%.
I see no freaking lie there.
Yeah.
We are the best entrepreneurs, and it kind of hit me again 3 years ago or during the pandemic, because during the pandemic I decided to go back to El Salvador. I'm from El Salvador.
Shout out to all salvadoreños,
Yeah.
all en los golferos.
Pupusas, people out there.
Oh, dude, I love
Just give me a good corrido, dude. We're all good, man.
So I was down there, and when I was down there, man, I saw people that I knew, neighbors that I knew, who would say to me, "I'm going to the United States tomorrow," and I'm like, "What?"
Well,
the hell?
you and I were talking about last Saturday.
Yeah, and
dude.
I was like, "Wait, what?" And I have a 4-year-old kid. Yeah, and I'm leaving at 4 a.m. in the morning. So it made me think. One, this lady created a business plan. This lady had to raise fundings.
Yep.
This lady had to do a budget. This lady had to do a roadmap. And this lady had a vision for the future. That is an entrepreneur. That's every business person.
the clear definition of an entrepreneur.
Yes. And I say, what are you gonna do with her? Or what's gonna happen? And she said, I don't know, but that's a better future for my family. Man, everybody talks about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna go to Mars. Mars? People in our countries, El Salvador, Mexico, Guatemala, anywhere, they're already coming to Mars. And they already don't know where they're gonna go.
It is literally another planet for some of our families
Thousands of
to get
miles
here.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another planet, man. We're like talking about Elon Musk. We should be talking about the person who's coming across the border right now. They're doing the same plan that he's doing to be able to get to the United States and have a better future.
And I think there's a catch-22, and you
Yeah,
and I were
man.
talking about this, Hercules, where my grandparents, when they immigrated to the United States, Ralph's grandparents, when they immigrated to the United States, I think that's where they lose the message, where it's like, I don't want my family to suffer the same way I suffered.
Correct.
And then we overcomfort.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
especially a saying that we hear, especially in Latinos, le quitamos el colmillo.
Yeah.
You take that. We were talking about this even earlier about sports. Sometimes we take the dog out of our kids
Yeah.
because we don't want them to struggle. We don't want them to suffer the same way we did. And it's like, I can see the intent, but are we doing a disfavor for them because they don't have that in them anymore?
Yeah, what I was saying is that we do know how to innovate, but we haven't, to your point, we haven't upgraded our chip to
Yep.
the new generation. So if
Yeah.
we have a technology, speaking of technology, right? The first MacBook Pro, the first MacBook that they had is not the same one they have now. Right,
No.
so we haven't updated
M2s, baby.
Yeah, M2s, right? So we haven't updated that technology. So I think for us Latino communities, we have to upgrade that technology, that chip, to our kids, and our kids have to be able to remember that they can dream and they can go someplace they haven't seen yet. Because it's the same thing our parents did. It's the same DNA. It's the same thought process. It's the same. In his book, Elon Musk said this. He said, what do you do with your kid? They asked him in the book. He says, on the weekend, sometimes, he said, we watch Mars. We have a telescope. And he said, we watch. And I said, why? He said, because I'm teaching them where they're going to live in the future. Right? So
Give them that aim point.
Giving them an aim point.
Yeah.
So I think for us, we have to help our kids to say, let me download the chip of dreaming. Let me download the chip of not being afraid. Because let me download the chip of you're going to do amazing things. You're going to have a better future. You're going to create something bigger for yourself. And I think that, like you said, once we come here, we kind of lose that a little bit for whatever reason. Now I'm not sure why, but we forget it. I don't know if we lost it.
I think it's one of those things because look, like to the message that you were talking a little bit earlier, like they struggled so much to get that money
Yes,
for the
sir.
coyotes. I mean,
Yes.
especially people that are coming from Central America. It's like, dude, you're just not jumping over the border.
Yeah.
You're going through multiple borders to get here.
Yeah.
You're running.
Tres veces mojados. dijo.
Yeah, tres veces mojados, Tigres del Norte, baby. Shout out los Tigres.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, and the way they see it, it's like, hey, I'm doing this for the opportunity of my family, and I don't want them ever to suffer the same way.
Yeah.
In that, and look, and I love that analogy you use, the upgrades. the upgrades that we do to our families sometimes are the wrong upgrades.
Yeah, sometimes.
Where we, instead of trying to get them the different mindset, we give them everything. And when you give them everything, are we taking that away from them? Are we taking that opportunity for them to learn through the struggle? Because we've learned through struggle. And look, I would love to get your point. How about tell us a little bit about your family? What's the situation? Are you first generation, second generation?
So my parents immigrated to this country, and I think the thing that helped me push through a lot of situations was like their motto, "Ponte los pilas," right? Push through, like always put in everything.
Ponte las pilas.
Ponte las pilas all the time. Anytime I would do something, they always tell me to give me my 100, right?
Yeah.
Make sure I'm making them proud and all of that, right? And I see a lot of other kids whose parents also, they've come through all this struggle, but they haven't, since they don't want their kids to face the same, they just said, ponte, termina escuela, right? Just finish school, just make sure that you can get a nice job, and that's it, you know? Yeah. And they don't, like, give their kids that passion. And I feel like, because they come from, like, a family of hustlers, right? Yeah. Us as Latinos, right? We create our own businesses, our own futures. And I feel like having our kids, like, stress that point to put more pilas into their work, right? Making sure that,
I like that
they can do what they can, like, be the next future, and they can make our future generations, right? The best that they can be would be the best for, like, our generation and just Latino culture as a whole.
Love it, dude. Love it. And I think that's where we need to differ. Us as parents, like myself, having two kids. Hercules, I don't know your situation with kids, but
I have 100 of them.
All right, so now we're talking about stereotypes in Latino communities.
I don't have one.
I digress. But look, and I sometimes have to catch myself with this because, again, the comforts that we try to have for our kids, and I see this especially every new school year. We all go take our kids. We have a little bit of personal pride, like, oh, my kid has to have, like, the latest and greatest kicks. Like, let me go get them the Jordans that nobody else got during the summer. Let me make sure that they have the gear. It's like, are we emphasizing on the right things?
And you know, I agree 100%. I was one of those kids growing up in South Central. You know, my parents have always been entrepreneurs. Taquerias, catering trucks, selling pupusas, whatever, in the streets, whatever.
Got hustle one way or another.
All that stuff, right? And I used to ask my mom and my dad, I said, hey, I want those shoes. And back in the days, I'm going to date myself. I'm not sure how you guys are. You look very much younger.
These two are the youngins over there.
You probably don't know this. So there was these shoes back in the days that were called pumps. The pumps.
Reebok.
The Reebok.
Yeah.
So you know, Luke.
Dude, 44 years old over here. Come on. I lived through all that stuff. 80s kid, baby.
There you go. So the Reeboks came out with the pumps, right? I couldn't afford them. Right, and I asked my mom to buy them, and she's like, "No, estás loco, eh? Like,
$100,
120, 140, estás loco. ¿Qué vamos a comer? What are we gonna eat? You know, ¿tú vas a comer los zapatos? Okay." And she said, "Well, if you want them," she said, "you got to work for them.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Go work for them." Right. So then I started selling pupusas at school and stuff like that.
Entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes, and I learned right after I made my money about my shoes, and it gave me a sense of value for things. What is the value for things? What am I really going to spend my money in? Because 3 months later, when it was raining, guess what happened?
You ain't putting those shoes on.
I did put those shoes on.
Oh, did on the race?
Exactly.
Oh, damn.
And that pump was making a little squishy noise. All right. All my 80 kids, we knew that problem. As soon as we got those pumps in the rain,
and
pump is gone, baby.
And the next day you went to the basketball court and you were like, pump them up, no more pumps. Man, those shoes lasted
the struggles of the 80s.
Man, they lasted 3 months. Yep. And I spent almost $120. And I said to myself, never again would I work that hard, right, and go buy something that's not going to have value.
Yeah.
That's going to lose the value overnight, right? And maybe I should have saved them. I'm not sure they're worth more than Jordans now, but what I'm saying is like, hey,
it's a collector's item.
You have to be able to understand that, right? And we have to teach the budgeting, all that stuff to our kids.
The thing that's crazy, and this is where I have a love-hate relationship with modern technology, and I don't necessarily mean like hardware, but
really?
sometimes with the software. Here's the issue, and I don't want to get
open source guy.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. So, like, look, are we using social media to even cascade this message? Without a freaking doubt. But I think social media has become that double-edged sword, and this is again where the Latino community comes into play. And then you have the people who are flossing everything on the gram, if you will.
On social media, man.
Yeah, and you have no idea what their credit card debt looks like. You have no idea what their home situation looks like. You have no idea where any of that lies.
Yes.
But let's paint the picture that we want Instagram and now all of our followers to see.
Yeah.
And that's a challenging thing, Edgar. I mean, like, how do you struggle with something like that yourself, being a youth, man? You
Yeah,
see,
that's a good question.
You see
There's
your
so
homies,
many
all this
fake
stuff.
people. I think that's a big thing. So many like people are just being fake online, and I don't think that's like a really good thing. Because I see so many like, of my friends, right? They post pictures of maybe themselves doing really good things.
you know the real.
Yeah,
That's true.
And that's, I mean, I don't know, like my kid's 14. I cautiously let him into social media. He just got his Instagram account a couple months ago. But it's one of those things, especially because I know the background of these social media applications. And look, at the end of the day, it's a business. Yeah. They're making money. Mm-hmm. They're going to put the right things in front of you. They want you to see the right things in front of you. So we feed into the consumerism. And look, I'm not hating on that because check out the Los Golferos Instagram.
I know. Or else we wouldn't be here.
But how do we help
it's commercialized.
How do we help our youth kind of understand that?
I'm not, you're gonna disagree with me this, and people might be like, "What the hell? This guy teaches technology. We do entrepreneurship, innovation. We do design. We do all that stuff with TXT." And then be like, "Why is he disagreeing with you? I might disagree with you." And I'm gonna say, I don't think our kids should be on Instagram or any social media platform until they're 14 or 15 years old.
I don't disagree with you at all.
I would take those phones off. I would take them out right now.
Your thought, though.
I know. Hold on. Give me a second.
I agree with that.
Let me there you go. But
there is hope for the youth, ladies and gentlemen.
There, yeah.
So there's two people that I want to mention is Ronaldo. I'm not a big soccer player, by the way.
Yeah.
But Ronaldo. I saw his other interview, Ronaldo, the GOAT. There's some kid over here is jumping out. He's a GOAT, I guess.
All right, are we talking about Cristiano?
Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
They're both great. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, you're a youngin'. What do you know about? Okay, nowadays, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that. What do you know about Fat Ronaldo versus CR7?
No, Cristiano. We'll talk about Cristiano. So what I was saying is this: his kid wants to be a soccer player, and he actually doesn't let his kid use a phone. He has no phone. And then so that's the one I was gonna say. That's data, my own little data point. But if you read Steve Jobs' autobiography, the late Steve Jobs' autobiography, in his book, he mentioned it. He said, no kid should be using the technology I'm about to create. He didn't let his kids use that technology. He said, no, this is not a technology that we should create, the kids should be using. He created a thing that he actually didn't let his kids use himself at all. That's so crazy. And Elon Musk, we talk about people, entrepreneurs, people who are creating this stuff. Elon Musk actually created a school where kids think different and where kids design things different. They don't even have grades, bro. They don't have anything. So we have to get away from that. Most parents, we have to say, man, you know what? Let's take this phone away. They're gonna cry, they're gonna kick, but at the end of the day, who cares, man? Who cares? It worked for us. And it's not working for them.
And you nailed it, though. You nailed it there. And this is a conversation I've had with Raul. And look, by no way, shape, or
Your kid is
form.
gonna hate me.
No. He knows. And look, here's a beautiful thing. Like, we talk about what urban Texas is doing, and we talk about communal growth, and we always hear it takes a village. Without a freaking doubt, it does. But a lot of times, it's like, how are we using that village to have those different point of views? Like, look, I can tell you this. For all of Los Golferos fans and followers, you guys have heard this story before. Ralph is my cousin through marriage. His dad, Ralph Sr., love the guy. He's like an uncle to me type of thing. And even the knowledge and the skill set that he presents to my kids might be a little bit more old school even than me, but I need to have that different point of view because he had different struggles than I had. The struggles that my dad had, even though when my dad talks to my kid, they're learning the old school, but it's different generations, different train of thoughts, different places in the world that they have. And that's a thing that sometimes we don't take advantage of that.
No, I'm really surprised that you said, Edgar, that you agree with taking the phone away. You will give up your
Love
phone.
you for that, Edgar.
Man.
I'm surprised. I never actually had this conversation with him. So tell us, I want to hear your thoughts. Why would you say yes to us old folks?
I mean, if
Ancianos over here.
if anything, like, I mean, when I got Instagram, terrible place. First thing I saw, a bunch of people being rude to each other.
Dang. Yep.
And then,
I'm glad you didn't start with Twitter or X.
jeez.
Oh man.
know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I try my best not to stay on like Instagram and stuff like that. I'll respond to friends, but other than that, not really. And then I think if anything, right, just being connected more to like online stuff, right, stuff like that, it kind of takes away from like your own experiences. Because like I've seen my friends and myself, I've been a victim to just spending time on my phone and like not focusing on that, right, when I should be doing stuff that I need to do.
That's scrolling, man.
Yeah.
That's become literally now. Who was it? I think it was the British Health Organization that they were saying. It was Finland.
Finland, yeah, I know.
Who was saying like it's literally now an addiction for them.
Finland.
Yeah.
Well, Finland they just passed a law that they won't let people use phones at the parks. So
Love
they just
it.
passed a law.
Oh, that's awesome.
The schools are going to follow. So I mean, I think it's necessary to talk about.
Yeah,
it.
well, it's funny you mentioned the schools because just yesterday they were announcing that California has a bill to ban cell phones statewide. I know LAUSD did
That's
it.
gonna be huge.
Yeah,
Man.
LAUSD just did it this school year where they're banning them at LAUSD.
Really?
And they're supposed to be a review point, I believe, in December or January, where they're going to decide if it's permanent. But LAUSD was the 5th school district, I believe, to ban phones. And then California's looking at banning them through the entire state. So,
Well, we got a
Interesting
kid here,
moves.
man. So
It's gone through it at the school I did. They already like
really?
started to initiate the ban.
they see it and they take it, right? Is that what they're saying?
My school, they kind of do it. Like you're not allowed to use your phone at all, right? So if they see it, they do take it. But I mean, honestly, I think the ban. I've seen a lot more people be focused because of it. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask. Yeah. So like, obviously you've seen focus, but has that affected your classmates in any other way? Like, what's kind of like the social aspect? Because I feel like kids are always on their phone at lunch and stuff like that. So what's it like now during breaks?
I mean, I've seen more like communication. There's still some people who still use their phone, right? Like who don't listen, but I've seen a lot more communication.
Yeah.
Right. A lot more. I've been able to engage with my friends a lot more too. Which
Yeah.
I think is the best part.
Yeah, we know at TXT, one of the activities that we do is we have 1 week that we go out to the mountains.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So if you're out there, you want to donate to us, this is a good place to donate for us, to the mountains. Because this is we take 40 kids out to the mountains and we camp and we take away their phones. They can't use their phones. We only use their phones for 20 minutes, I think it's 10 minutes, to call their mom. And just say, hey, mom, I'm okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it. But other than that, we take away the phone. They have to talk to each other. They have to be nice to each other. By the way, I mean, you got to be nice, more nicer to each other, and they have to be able to relate to each other at camp, and that helps a lot when they come back. So build relationships, build friendship, brotherhood. We teach them how to build that here at TXT, but it starts at camp with no technology, zero technologies.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. If anyone's been noticing, one thing that I've been taking from this conversation, normally I talk a lot more and I'm more involved, but today I really want to listen. But the key thing that we've been talking about today is this is an organization that's teaching kids how to utilize technology, entrepreneurship, and all that. But a lot of the conversation is about the bad side of technology, what we shouldn't do with technology.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because what you're fostering in the kids is intent. What are you intending to do with that technology?
Yeah.
You've created an app. You've done something that fixes a problem.
Yeah.
And I think kind of to Raul's point, what do we do? What do we teach this future generation is we have all of the tools and that's how we should treat them. They are tools. You don't go play with a shovel, right? No, you're going to use that shovel and have intent for it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about what you're doing with TXT.
Yeah. And I think to your point, we were talking when we first met at the golf course, you mentioned something that was very key, which is let our kids, this generation break things.
Yep.
Open up a computer, take apart a screen, like let them be able to break something, right? And I think that's important to be able to do that, because I know, I mean, at least myself, I was lucky enough to be opening a computer, and the only reason I was opening it because it was no computer that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how to make it work.
Is
Right?
it
It was the other way around.
Is it a hardware piece or is it RAM, the mother drive?
What was going on with that? But also like even like it's in our bloods. Like I remember, I think till this day, so there's some dads out there who take their kids and take apart an alternator or a tire or something, use tools, right? And I think if we can let them do that with technology.
Yeah.
Like, go
Yeah.
create something, go break something, and I think that'll be good. But you talked about it last time about creating.
I mean, look. You mentioned a couple of the autobiographies that are out there, whether it's Elon Musk, whether it's Steve Jobs, any of them. I don't care who it is. Even the origin stories of Amazon, all those different things was like, hey, let me break the status quo. Let me break the hardware. Let me break the software, and let me try to do something different.
Yeah.
I mean, like one of my favorite quotes for anybody that's old enough might remember this movie, Pirates of Silicon Valley, kind of like the story of the infamous Apple and Microsoft battle.
Yeah.
Where Bill Gates said, he was asked, they're like, hey, didn't you just steal the idea from Apple? He's like, no, I took an idea and I made it better.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where we're sometimes, and again, this is where I'm going to blame a little bit of the culture, and this is something that you and I talked about, whether it's religious, whether it's homegrown type of mindset, a lot of times the Latino community tends to be more subservient in many cases. Like,
Well,
it's those hard things that we have to break out of.
yeah, and I think that's really difficult because it's not. I hate to say I'm gonna blame the culture because I don't think it comes from our culture.
No.
So I think that
Conquest.
yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for. It comes from conquest. Yeah, because I mean, I'm thinking like, if you go to Mexico, Salvador, and I've traveled through all these countries for more than a week. I've been there for like at least 2 months in each place, and our people are hardworking people.
No freaking doubt.
They're creating. They have small businesses everywhere, all these countries. So to your point, conquest. That's what it is. If somebody went and taught them, you got to serve me. Somebody over there went. I mean, we have to remember there was times where people couldn't be themselves, and they had to be able to pretend to be somebody else, and that got ingrained over and over and over again until they became who they were not. And it's hard to find back. Back to who you really are, right? Because
no freaking doubt.
We lose that. Somebody teaches us something else,
And look, hot take. I know Ralph usually saves these for Omar. What's up, Omar?
What's up, Omar?
Shout out Omar. Omar's hot takes.
But and look, send all the hate to me, not to Ralph. And this is why I again, I'm going to use this term. I have a love-hate relationship with religion.
Oh, okay.
And look,
what's your love-hate relationship? What's up?
The biggest thing is if you really think about organized religion, they were the ones that were the inquisitors. They were the ones that were the conquistadores. And what did they do? They changed the train thought of it. Think about ancient civilizations of Latin America. You talk about the Aztecs, the Mexicas, the Mayans, all of those folks. We're talking about advanced mathematics. We talk about entrepreneurial skills. You talk about architecture. You talk about engineering. And where was that? Like, whoa, pump the brakes, brown guy. You're a little too much for us Spanish people. Yeah. And look, I don't want to be that guy where it's like, oh, I'm completely indigenous. I'm not. Oh, I don't want to be the Spanish guy. I'm pure Spanish blood. I'm not. We're mestizos. We all have a mix of it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, we don't. This is again the upgrade. Are we upgrading the right thing? Are we just upgrading the facade, or are we upgrading the chipset? Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like, hey guys, beautiful things can be learned about religion. There's a lot of good things in religion, but it shouldn't be what controls the way you think and the way you are. 100%.
And I don't know if this might help you or help us feel more at ease. I'm not sure how this is going to be taken, but our parents completed their dream. We have to understand that.
Part of it, yeah.
No, not part of it, bro. Like,
well, think about
the
it.
Dream?
Like, part of the dream is also like, I want to see my kids be successful.
Yes, I agree with that. That is part. But our parents, when they left that little casa hecha de cartón, made in a cardboard, whatever that was.
Talk about modern engineering, dude. Give a Latino material and he's going to figure out a way to make a house out of it.
When they left, their dream was, I'm going to come to this country and I'm going to make it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to give my kids a better life.
Yep.
And to them, a better life was us going to school. To them, a better life was, hey, ¿qué crees? En la escuela de Estados Unidos les dan lunches gratis. I mean, that was a better life. Let's be real about it.
Yeah.
So, but I think the other part to your point is, okay, Now, how do I help my kid understand that they gotta dream bigger?
Bigger. That's a big thing.
How do I pass the DNA of having this, what I call, by the way, we teach the kids to have laughable goals. We call them laughable goals. How do I pass on to the kids to say, have a laughable goal? What does that mean? That means that if I go tell you my laughable goal, hey, like, let me see if I can make you laugh. Here goes a test. Hey, Raul, you know what? I want to be a PGA senior tour player.
Hey, man.
And we start giggling. I was trying not to giggle.
So here's why it's laughable.
It worked.
Here's why it's a good laughable.
I'm gonna go into that in a minute.
Golferos, and I'm going to tell Ralph to put. I'm going to tell Ralph to put a little bit of a vote button out here. How many guys over the age of 30 hasn't that become the goal now? Especially for the guys that discovered golf after 2020.
Bro, I'm gonna play in the open.
I don't think there's a single.
Is that your future?
I don't think there's a single guy over the age of 30 that has fallen in love with golf. Said like, I can make the senior tour eventually. So let me get it going.
When they get that dumb luck and hit a 300-yard drive, they're like, "Oh, I can do this."
Usually on hole number 9 or number 18.
Yes.
Oh, if I could just get the putting down right, or if I could just get the chipping down right, that's it. I'm golden.
But to the point, like, it's a laughable goal because we tell kids, hey, people are going to laugh at your goals. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you. But that's me saying, as an innovator, let me validate my product. I'm going to validate it.
You want to talk about laughable goal, about the whole conversation we have been having today, and the name you've been dropping a couple times. Cybertruck. That's all I got to say. That was a freaking laughable goal.
And he's laughing all the way to the bank.
Armor tank. The armor tank,
yeah. And he's laughing all the way to the bank, bro. All the way to the bank, And so I tell people,
love him or hate him, dude. The guy does what he has to do.
Our families have to tell our kids, go have that laughable goal, have that imagination, have that thing that you maybe think you're not going to reach, but that will keep you going forward. That will keep you, whether you get there or not, it's going to keep you going forward until you get someplace. Because everybody has those laughable goals. And what I was going to say to you earlier is like, we see it in our level con las familias and sort of people, like what's going on with kids. But you know what? I've been around enough rich kids, enough rich people. I've been around enough. Like, I've been around with the most wealthiest rich people.
Trust fund babies.
And they are having the same issues with their kids.
Well, and again, that's what we talked about earlier.
They're sitting on the couch doing nothing, but they have the money.
They have it.
Yeah.
But they're trust fund babies.
Yeah, but they're having the same issues.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't have the luxuries. Our kids don't have the luxuries to sit around, and our kids got to realize that they have the. I think it's an opportunity. If the rich trust fund kid is sitting down on the couch, let me run faster.
Well, and I think it might even be worse when you talk about affluent families, because it's that mindset of you were born with the silver spoon. Well, I mean, nowadays you're born with the freaking platinum spoon in certain families.
Yeah.
And it's more like, let me get my winter trip ready, so I'm going to go to the Swiss Alps, or let me get my summer ready and I'm going to go to Mykonos or Ibiza. And they're worse. I would say we have a better opportunity with our kids to look. I'll use Edgar for an example. And Edgar, this might be your dream, but I've seen this a lot in Latino culture where it's like, oh, mijo, you developed an app, become the best engineer possible, versus, hey, mijo, don't become the best engineer possible. Become the best freaking CEO, become the best freaking president, become the best freaking whatever you want to be that runs the operation. Not one of the guys. Look, no offense to engineers. A lot of engineers, friends of mine in some of the companies I work. But how do we get out of being that developer? How do we become more than that? How do we run the damn thing?
Well, the funny thing is that most of those engineers, friends of ours, might not know who Wozniak is.
The Wasp, come on.
Oh, yeah.
They know who Steve Jobs is, but they might not know who Wozniak is.
You gotta love the Wasp. Funny enough, he was a keynote speaker. Well,
he was.
Hopefully, you'll be able to attend our open source security summit. But Woz was one of our keynote speakers. Awesome. I think like 2 years ago for Bitwarden. So
that's cool.
Okay, so
this year, brown guy. For anybody who's interested in learning more about our open source security summit, I'm going to name drop a little bit. Tomas Maldonado, CISO for the NFL, is going to be
really
a brown brother,
awesome.
a CISO. I hopefully won't get in trouble for this one, but CISO of the NFL. That's a big freaking job to have.
That's really cool, dude.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
So I took you away from the segue. What you asked Edgar about? School.
You just created the app, amazing project you put together. So, what are your aspirations? What are we looking, man?
like my dreams and
Yeah, man. What's your LOL goal, if you will?
my laughable goal.
like that.
Your laughable goal, yeah.
My laughable goal. Sorry, my laughable goal is to cure. What's it called? Diabetes. That's mine.
Dude,
Hey,
if there's
diabetic
something
right here,
that
bro.
impacts the community,
Yeah.
shit, it impacts one of
Diabetic, man,
the guys
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he has diabetes. That's my goal. Save him, right?
Yeah.
I wanna help him get a new kidney too. That's
Oh,
that's
man.
been my goal
Awesome.
ever since I've been a kid, just to help out my community.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome, bro.
And
So-
that's not a laughable goal. That's an amazing goal. So no, kudos to you, man.
All
That's
right,
awesome.
so you just dropped a little wrinkle into your resume here. So you're looking to get into medtech. Is that something you're looking into?
That's what I've been looking into, right? Into the field of pathology, med tech, all of that.
Beautiful, man. We need a lot more brown people because, look, to your point, a lot of times, no hate to any of the drug companies and all these research organizations, a lot of the research that's going on, again, hot topic, blame it on me, don't blame it on Ralph, they're looking at things that affect the Anglo community.
Yeah,
How
of course.
many,
Yeah.
honestly, how many research organizations that we have out there are really doing research, well-funded research? That's a big difference. Well-funded research into the things that affect the Latino community. The things we see with diabetes, the things we see with heart issues. Look, something that now we're seeing a lot more in the Latino community, and before it was seen like, oh, it's only an Anglo problem.
Yeah.
We're starting to see dementia in the Latino community more than ever before. But the reason it was always there,
You know,
they just didn't do the research on it.
But to that point, I'm gonna segue a little bit. Hopefully, this is the right segue. It's we as the Latino community, we're a young ethnicity group in the United States compared to other groups. I mean, when I went,
Do you think it's young or it's been under-focused? Because think about it.
It's young.
And this was all
Mexico,
Latino.
man.
This is all Latino community.
But check this out, right? When I got into golf 5 months ago, I did not know what golf was to our people until a month later, because I found, and shout out to this brother because he welcomed me to the golf communities, and he gave me a lot of love when I came into the golf community, is Custom Sticks.
Yeah, we were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Custom Sticks.
Custom Sticks is actually sponsoring our prizes for our next
That's
Golferos
right.
League
He
event.
did, he did tell me
Yeah.
that.
Shout out
Okay.
Custom Sticks.
All right, drop the promotion.
Yes, Custom
Next league
Sticks.
event, Custom Sticks sponsoring it. What do we have?
So I don't know if he actually wants me saying this yet, but I know there's going to be some custom clubs in there that he's decking out for the Golferos.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think, a CTP and a longest drive. So he's putting a lot up out there.
Yes.
So no, shout out to Custom Sticks, man.
And so I'm saying that because I didn't know anything about golf, and when I came and I found them online on social media, and I had gotten
The
an
good
old,
side of social media.
I had gotten an old putter from the Swami, cost me $2.
A huevo.
Yeah.
$2, right? And the freaking grip was horrible, right? So, and I was like, Custom Sticks, and he had Raiders on it. So I drove like 2 hours to go meet him at this freaking event. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just drove, and it was the first tournament I got into, but not played. I was just there. I was just there. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking around, and like mariachis, corridos, all these people, toda la gente. And I was like,
Was this the Raza event?
No,
Oh, okay. I was
this
like,
is
they
another
just threw
one.
on a
No, they just
pretty
threw one
badass
on.
event.
This was at the California Country Club when I met him. But
Oh, it might have been the Raza
but
event.
no, but this is a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like 4 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 months ago.
No, they
but
just
what I'm
threw theirs,
saying
yeah.
is that he welcomed me, man, and he said, "Hey, man, welcome to golf. This is what it is." He took care of me. He showed me. He talked to me about it, and then he kept staying in touch with me. Custom Sticks, and then Raul. To your point earlier is that I was trying to make with us. The reason I got excited because I started meeting people like you, people like Hermanos Golf, like this other guy who you were in the shirt. So
No, bro,
shout
I'm
out.
sure, yeah, he's a
So
good guy.
So Hermanos
Shout out
Golf.
Hermanos Golf.
Yeah, shout out to him. When I saw that, I said, we are young, a Latino community, but we're doing businesses in a different way, and we're coming into new places to do businesses. What's going to take, to your point, is going to be how do we somehow save that money, invest that money, and invest it in that research.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to take. It's going to take us to invest money in that research because nobody else is going to do it. But we haven't gotten there. We don't have the rich. We don't have the Michael Jordans. We don't.
Well,
our people, we didn't make that money. We don't have. Cristiano Ronaldo's not going to give money to research.
And look, honestly, so double take on that one. And here's
Okay, go ahead.
what I mean by that. Like, I don't think we've embraced it because look, if we just talk about just the golf world, there have been Latinos, but they never had the focus. Look, shout out, rest in paradise to the great Chichi Rodriguez, just passed away.
Chichi.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chichi, one of the first OGs to bring swag to the golf course.
Yes.
The infamous picture of him and his caddy, that's a freaking legendary picture. One of the Mexico-Americanos that doesn't really get so much love. And look, it's probably one of everybody's favorite golf movie. He's in Happy Gilmore. Lee Trevino.
Lee.
Lee Trevino. And then there's some of the things where some of these guys were probably more embraced by the Anglo community than were into the Latino community because we weren't being exposed to this.
Sure.
So one of the things you and I
But
were
they
talking...
also didn't make as much money.
You know,
They didn't make the Tiger Woods money. They didn't,
no,
bro.
but nobody was making it back then.
But hold on. But they didn't make... Hold on. But we can't just say, oh, damn, or we bring around. No. The Latino did not get embraced by the rich golfers. They didn't get embraced they didn't get embraced by the brands. Okay,
Max, I'll challenge that one.
Okay,
because
go
look,
ahead.
if you want to remember, like again, a lot of you that are listening to this might not know, but
Yeah.
Max Fly golf balls were premium golf balls. Now you see them at Dick's 2 for $40. But if I give props to a company that did embrace Lee Trevino, they gave him his own brand, the Supermax, and he was sponsored by MaxFly. The thing is, a lot of it wasn't. We as a community didn't see those things yet, and I can tell you the same thing. You and I were talking a little bit about some of the sports we started playing when we were growing up, and we didn't see the Latino community say like, "Hey, look, there's another brown face. Let's start looking at golf." For me, it wasn't until the late '90s where we saw an African American face making disruptive patterns in the PGA and Tiger.
Tiger
that's what
opened
it
it up
takes.
for all the minorities.
Disruption
That's
again.
No, but not only that, it takes us convincing
That
Nike
we should follow our LOL goal.
No, that we convincing, hey, Nike, you gotta invest in this kid, and it takes that much talent of a kid to be able to go to Nike and say this one. By the way, what we don't know, because I didn't know this until 5 months ago, and I don't know if you know this, is Tiger Woods' first coach was a Latino man, a Mexican guy.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
So then, hey, Tiger,
about
hold
this.
on.
We did? Oh, shoot.
But then this is a question we got to ask, and we got to keep people accountable. Hey, Tiger, why aren't you funding this guy's junior Latino, like freaking, it's freaking San Dimas, Little League that he has? Why is Tiger Woods not doing that? He forgot that a Latino man helped him? Come on, bro.
That's an interesting take.
Hey,
That I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Hey, why are you not funding that? So what I'm saying is that,
TaylorMade hooked the brother up because look at the bag that TaylorMade gives him.
Hey, there's pictures of this Tiger Woods with this Latino guy, blah blah blah. He knew his dad, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, well, let's just not blame us, man. The Latino community in these spaces have been left out because we are the biggest economy factor in the United States right now.
Without a freaking doubt.
We are freaking doubt. And they're not throwing money at us like they should. You know that in the nonprofit world, Latino founders, CEOs, we receive 3% of funding in the United States.
And when we're literally
and we're the largest community serving
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? 3%?
those are the challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we have to tell ourselves, like, that's why I get excited about Manos Golf. I get excited about you, Custom Six, everybody who's doing business out there through golf, through anything else, because we have to think futuristic. How do we put our money together and put it into our community so our community can keep doing the same thing over and over again, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that because again, I'll say a little bit of a shout out to another homie of the brand, Tacos at the Turn, Nelson.
Shout out Tacos Nelson.
I met him.
Yeah.
I briefly met him. This is a cool guy too, with the LA hats.
So what's one of the
shout
big
outs.
things that Nelson talks about, and he's like the gathering of micro golf brands and stuff of that nature, and that's why I always talk about like, hey, what does Nelson do? Like, dude, he's an organizer, he's a networking guy, and those are some of the things. And look, sometimes we also need the support, and here's another one that I'll give a shout out to our boys over at Safe Par.
Yeah.
Dom and Derek, think about what they've done. Jordan over at Orden Golf, what they brought when we were just out in the Shindig in Minnesota.
Cool.
Yeah.
We had an Irish guy. We have a couple Mexican guys.
Shout out Duffin.
Duffin, baby. Miss you, brother. But that's a thing. But it also is a new mindset.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. But
look, I'm gonna tell you one thing. The way I think Latinos should think about things is this. And I'm gonna put it out there because I mentioned him. I'll mention him again. You notice when I came in, I saw you guys. I was wearing somebody's hat, right? And,
could have been a little bit of a Sunday red.
No, yes, could have been. But I say, you know what? I'm not gonna put that on the podcast. I went to my office and got my own hat.
Hey,
Yeah.
sometimes we got to show
But
off our own brands.
But we have to. What I'm saying, we, our Latino community, cannot be selling ourselves for a lower value to these
No.
brands. We cannot.
And-
And we and the golferos we're playing, the golferas, the mujeres, hombres, whatever.
Mhm.
We have to come together and say, in the golf community, we got money.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we're not going to spend it on your brand if you don't spend it in our community.
Well,
We're not
that's
going to spend it.
That's the beautiful thing. And actually, as you're
that's-
talking about. As you're talking about, these other brands like the Tigers, hey, you should be,
they
contributing to
should.
this and all that. I agree with you, but to an extent of we're doing that now because
Yes.
we are creating these micro organizations, hopefully becoming macro,
We have to.
and
We must.
it's one of those things where, like you said, we're developing the community.
Yes.
You have custom sticks that welcomes you into the golf
Yes.
world and stuff like that. We didn't have that.
Yes,
Like
I
when
agree.
when I got into golf in middle school, and the reason I didn't continue playing golf is
Correct.
because
Correct.
I got into it, and then I was like, cool, I want to compete on my high school golf team, and all white.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I
country
don't
club
see-
babies, dude. How are you
Yeah.
going to compete
Yes.
with that?
Country club
And
babies.
I didn't see myself in that.
Yeah.
And so the beautiful thing about what we're doing with Los Golferos, what we see with Hermanos and Raza and all these other groups
Nueve.
in Nueve,
That's right,
is we're giving that representation. And
Yes.
where we are seeing that
Yes.
change
Yes.
is in our own backyard.
Yes.
Shout out to homie Omar. Omar is over at Callaway, and we have Eric over at TaylorMade. We've made friends
Yes.
in the, I would say, the corporate golf
Yes.
world, and I've had the pleasure of going into these businesses. And who's working in the back?
We are, bro.
We are.
Yeah, of course.
We're all there.
Who be
Everywhere.
customizing them Scotties?
Who's be custom-
in San Marcos?
Yes.
All of you who are
Yes.
listening, watching,
Yes.
following, I guarantee you, if you're playing Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, a Mexicano, a Latino has touched your club.
Yes.
They
Yep.
have
I
put
agree.
it together.
I agree.
And so,
Well,
where-
every Titleist club that I go see and it's assembled in Mexico.
yeah, it all comes from Baja. All
God,
of
you
the
know that.
shafts,
I was
everything
like,
comes from Baja.
Well, look at the
I should've
where
been
the materials
surprised.
made for a lot of the golf shirts we're wearing. El Salvador,
El Salvador, yeah.
massive,
Chile.
massive
Yes.
freaking Nike manufacturing facilities out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure if this year's is still that, but for anybody, we're right around the corner for NFL season. Go look at where that jersey was made. It was in Salvador.
Yeah. And I think we all have to keep telling the companies you gotta invest in our communities. You gotta invest in our
Yeah.
community because you know what, the black community does it all the time.
Yeah.
They say, hey, the black community. Man, I grew up with the black community. You know, I had my dearest mentor is a black man, and I have to say that the one thing I learned from him was like, we ask for what is ours.
Yeah.
That's what we do. As a black community, he said, hey, we ask for what is ours. In a Latino community, as we start these things, we have to say, hey, give us what is ours because it's going to grow. It's growing. It's growing. Community is growing. Everywhere you go. I went to Texas. I went up north. Latinos playing golf everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I honestly, I didn't know that until 5 months ago. And
Dude, we were
recently
in
I didn't-
Minnesota.
Yeah, we were in Minnesota.
We were
Yes.
seeing Brown Brothers
and
out
that,
there.
and that's actually where I was leading with my point is that we're showing them representation. The big companies are seeing it now, little by little. It's not where we want it to be,
Yeah.
but they're seeing it, and now we have TaylorMade coming out with more of the Dia de los Muertos stuff, and we see all these companies. They're not.
The question is going to be though for us. We have to. The question is, hey, TaylorMade, who is keeping them accountable, not to sell us shit. Sorry, I can curse. Not just to sell us shit, but who's going to keep them accountable to say, you got to give that money back to us? Who's going to keep them?
Yeah.
You got to give Los Golferos a contract, bro.
I love that.
Listen to the man. Listen to the man.
Come sponsor us. Yeah.
Yes, I'm
No.
serious. Fucking, you're gonna go Dia de los Muertos. You're gonna go
But have
because
a-
hey,
well-
you gotta.
Well, it's
I'm sorry,
funny,
bro. I
It-
gotta
it-
say
no. Well, and you and I talked a little bit about this. I mean,
Shit,
the whole
don't
reason.
get me started.
Hey, I love it. Yeah.
I love the energy, man. The whole reason, I mean, like where Hector, shout out to Hex, who is one of the original co-founders. The whole reason Hex and I came out with the Golfero towel, the original idea was I saw Scotty Cameron selling the Sarape golf bag and the Sarape towel, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, I don't know how to feel about this one. I love
Yes.
Scotty Cameron,
Hey.
but like, why is he selling Sarape stuff? And I get it. Surf culture community,
Yes,
San Diego,
yes,
Yeah.
Encinitas,
yes.
Carlsbad. I get
Yes.
that. But to your point,
We gotta call them out.
like, how many times are we really going to see our brethren dropping 4 or 5 bills on a golf bag.
Yeah, we have to. I tell people we have to learn from the black community. The black community understands their culture, understands their value, understands that we're not gonna come out here and just give it to you for free.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call you out. And look, we have examples like Tiger Woods, right? We have examples like Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
We have examples like Dr. Dre. We have examples of all those people that had called them out and said, "This is our culture. We're gonna sell it to you. You got to give me the money that belongs to me."
Yeah.
And if we hear talking about TaylorMade, more Latinos are going to hear. How many? You got 28,000 people.
Yeah.
28,000 followers. TaylorMade needs to understand that they need to pay you for saying their name on this podcast. Like today.
Listen to the man.
Yeah.
Listen to this guy. They need to do that today.
Yeah.
Today, not
but
tomorrow.
look-
Custom Sticks should be having a contract with Titleist right now.
But Hercules, to be honest with you, for you and I, especially because we're the older guys here, it's these guys.
No, I love
It's these guys. How do we get Edgar to embrace golf a little bit? Maybe not be his favorite sport, but like, look,
Where's my caddy, bro?
there you go. So,
You're a
so,
caddy?
Yeah, I was caddy.
Nice.
so look, there's a couple of younger guys out here. For some of you guys already know me. I have my 14-year-old, and he's been my golf partner since he was 4. But how do we get our kids more out there? And how do we expose them to look,
that's a
we
good
always
question.
know the sports that we're going to teach our kids. We're going to teach them baseball and football and soccer or football. We're going to teach them that stuff. But how many times are we teaching our kids, and Hercules, something that you and I were talking about, lacrosse,
Yeah, play lacrosse.
Hockey.
Play lacrosse, everybody.
golf, these type of things that, look, a lot of times our pathways, everybody hears about the football scholarship, the basketball scholarship. There's so much money for lacrosse. There's so much money for golf. There's so much money for track. There's so much money for some of these non-Big Four type of sports out there.
One thing, I'm glad you're saying that, and I'm going to say this story because it makes me a little sad, it makes me a little upset, but it also makes me a little like, fuck you, I don't give a fuck. Okay. I have
Hex would have been loving this conversation. Hex, we miss you, brother.
Yeah.
I don't know you, brother, but we miss you. But to your point, I told you I play lacrosse, right? So I grew up playing lacrosse, everybody. And then I swim. So the other sport that I do is swim. I swim a lot. I don't know how to carry a soccer ball between my legs. I don't know. I have no idea how to use a soccer ball. And the last thing is now I got into golf. What makes me sad is that I was telling one of my friends who's very wealthy, Latino, not wealthy, but he's doing very well off.
Yeah.
I think well off. And another one who's also a Mexicana who was born in Mexico. They're good friends of mine. And I told them what I do. And they said, "Why do you do all the white sports?" And to me that makes me sad, upset, and I'm like, and a little like, fuck you, because we're doing to ourselves the same thing that others have done to us.
Yep.
Already, when we went to USC, we went to fucking Pepperdine, we went to Harvard, and we're doing the same shit to each other. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's get
Say it, Raul. Say it.
Say it. All right, for the umpteenth time.
Let's go.
Say it.
All right, so this is the Raul shows up on a podcast episode. He's gonna say the damn same thing.
Say it.
A Mexican's greatest hater, or in this case, I will be universal. A Latino's greatest hater is another Latino.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. People call us coconuts. Brown on the outside, white on the inside.
Yeah.
I heard that shit through high school because, hey, what are you doing for winter break? I'm going snowboarding. What the fuck? You're not white.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I have a hockey tournament. You ain't white.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, man? Why does it have to be like, oh, you ain't white? Look, little by little, we're starting to break that wall down, but it's
We gotta have those
it's
conversations.
normal, almost.
In this country, we're gonna play hockey, lacrosse. I'm gonna swim. I like to swim more than I like to run with a.
Hey, look, honestly, one of the things like a high school sport that a lot of people don't pay attention to, freaking water polo.
Yes.
Dude.
Yep.
Hey, look, if you want to see a sport where a brown man can probably excel,
Yes.
Water polo.
water polo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But for most of us, like, what the hell is water polo? How do I get the horse in the pool?
Yeah. And one of the things I dislike, some people in our community say, well, we don't have the money to do golf, right? Or we don't have the money to do lacrosse. But I believe that's not true for a lot of parents, even parents that I work with in the inner city. I'm talking about parents that, the kids I'm serving, the parents are making $20K a year, hopefully $30K a year, right? A year with a family of 5 people, 6 people, right? And they got to pay rent, and mortgage is going up and all that stuff, or rent is going up. But man, I get so upset sometimes and sad because they're still trying to figure out how to pay $1,000 for a soccer league.
Yeah,
they're still trying to figure $1,000, and sometimes it's $1,000 a month, man.
Oh,
for
travel
teams, and I'm like, wait, but you don't have comida, and like and you're struggling to pay rent. No, but if we're doing that, we should be able to teach our community and say, hey, what about you put those $1,000 into golf? That's going to give you a better scholarship.
Yeah,
that's going to give you a better entrance. That's going to give you a better network. A better network.
Well, like you look at it from like, okay, like when we look at business, right? We're going to take this back to a business aspect. If we're looking at a market and we see that it's oversaturated, what do we want to do? We want to become a disruptor, right? Yeah. What's the next open market that we can go approach? And it's the same thing with youth sports, like you said, water polo. How many Mexican kids are going into water polo? Yeah. Every high school team, at least here in Southern California, has a water polo team.
They're starting to, man.
What's it going to cost you? Whatever the school fees is, was just typically like a couple $100, and you can play that in school. They have the pool, they have the balls. You're basically just paying your school fees.
Well, look, honestly, one of the biggest things I would say to any, especially because I know we have followers of all ages. We have some guys who are in their early 20s and they're still party golf. We have some followers in their late 20s who are now starting to settle down, thinking about family. Early 30 guys who have the family. Biggest thing I can recommend to anybody is expose your kid to everything. Expose them. Like, hey, get them to try something. Let them freaking kick the soccer ball. It's great. Let them throw the baseball, but expose them to all the different things. You never know what you might be opening up. That's one of the biggest things. We cannot be pigeonholed into the same crap we were pigeonholed ourselves.
Look, lacrosse, did something for you. Lacrosse, to me, opened up doors, man.
Lacrosse. Think about the schools that have lacrosse teams.
I mean, I tell people to this day, I have the nonprofit. It's a nonprofit that I built 15 years ago. If it wouldn't be partially for lacrosse, I wouldn't have built it. Because lacrosse taught me the business. Lacrosse helped me be around people who were doing nonprofits. Yeah. Right. And lacrosse actually helped me get jobs because of the network that I had, who also said, hey, can you donate X amount of money to this nonprofit I'm trying to build? Exactly. And people trusted me, right? People trusted me. So they did donate money to this organization. So I think for us Latinos, we have to think strategically how we're going to move our communities forward, and that's why golferos and all of the guys you guys mentioned is so important for golf, man. I love that you guys I love it. If I can be I'm gonna be like, hey Taylor, send me to TaylorMade. I'll talk to Taylor. Send me to Tyler. I like Hercules. He's over here preaching for us to get that contract. To all of you guys out there, we should be like, hey, let's come together and just shout out and a call to action. Call to action. Call to action. Let's get together. Hermanos Golf. Los golferos. Anybody out there? Let's talk out some stick. Let's come together and say, let's create a strategy, long-term strategy. So TaylorMade is going to be sponsoring all of us within like a year from now. And we're going to approach it because shit, man. Somebody else is going to get on.
You know who I want to give a big shout out to? I want to give a big shout out to. I want to give a shout out to Gooder. Gooder, they've supported one of the charity foundations that we support, the Young at Heart. Shout out Young at Heart, Mike and Sonia. But funny enough, so obviously we have Abraham and Carlos Ortiz. They have like their sponsors, right? They have Titleist.
Are you talking about the announcement they just showed on their Instagram like a couple of days ago?
Who they get, Raul? Who they get?
I'll let you talk about it because I saw it on the Instagram just a couple of days ago, and that bag she's rocking,
freaking fresh, dude. Man, I really want to give a big shout out to Gooder. They don't sponsor us, but they support us in the best way that they can by donating to our charities. But they just signed Gaby Lopez. Yep. Okay. One of the best female golfers in the world, in my opinion. Call me biased, whatever you want to say, but they actually reached out to us to sponsor our charity events. Good. Yep. And so I want to get to your point, where are these big companies and why aren't they supporting? I want to give a big shout out to them because they supported the small businesses and they went after one of the best female golfers in the world. Gooder sunglasses.
Gooder sunglasses. Okay, I don't. If you're not following Gooder sunglasses, follow them. If you guys are looking for an amazing pair of sunglasses that's not going to break the bank, check out Gooder, especially their golf line. Amazing stuff they
Freaking
put
clean,
together.
dude. Love them.
Check them out.
Hey,
Guys,
sorry,
Gooder-
I don't want to interrupt you guys, but Edgar's been over here patiently waiting. I think he had a
Jump
point.
in it, bro.
He wanted.
What are we talking about?
He's raised
Just
the mic a couple
Well,
times.
hold on, Gooder. I don't know you yet, but we got a hackathon coming up. We need a sponsor.
Hey,
But Edgar
give me
had a
some
point
leads.
here. We were talking about high school sports, and I saw you raise the mic up. Was there something you wanted to say about
Yeah,
that?
I wanted to say, especially towards what you said, that like exposing kids more towards like these opportunities. I think I've seen a lot of kids. I'm gonna put 2 examples, right? You put a kid who only has done soccer his entire life, and a kid who's like maybe been put through golf, soccer, swimming, right? One kid, he's gonna be hella good at, you know, kicking that ball, but the other one, he's going against other people, like other white kids. He's learning how to code, right? He's getting more skills, while one kid is just, he knows what he's doing, but he's not expanding his reach.
Yeah,
That's a good call out, man.
Yeah,
That's a
jack of all
super good call.
trades. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Become a jack of all trades.
Well, be careful with that one because you know what they also say about jack of all trades.
Master of none.
Master of none.
But do you know the full saying?
Hit it.
Oh, hit it, yeah.
So a jack of all trades is better than a master of one, but a jack of all trades is better than a master of none. So, and I may have misquoted that, but essentially saying that, like, to his point, you become so siloed in one aspect, whereas if you touch on other things and expose yourself to other environments, you're going to learn the lingo, learn the language, talk to them, and be able to adapt to different situations.
Look, honestly, it all comes down, and here's the beautiful thing about anything you do. When you're passionate about it, it's not just the passion you do it, it's the discipline you gain from it.
Discipline,
Yeah.
man.
That's the biggest thing in that.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, I'm not going to say like I've always been the most disciplined individual. The Ponce should tell you. But look, discipline is what really changes everything. If you guys don't take my word for it. And look, I'm not trying to sell anything. Go on YouTube, order the book, whatever you guys want to do. Check out Atomic Habits.
Oh,
Yeah.
And if you
It's
read
good
that
read.
book, or if you do the audiobook, or if you go do the little Instagram follow-ups or all that stuff,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is how do we take those micro steps for
Yes.
this to become second
Stack 'em
nature
up.
for us?
Yeah.
Stack those so goals up, man. So we gotta take those mini steps, stack them up so you can go. One of the you can sit up in the wall.
Get your
Oh,
mic
sit
up a
the wall.
little bit.
Sorry. One of the formulas, the formula we teach at TXT, right, has been faith plus determination to the power of discipline.
So
Talking about power of discipline.
check out that
equals
picture. It
success.
will be on the Instagram, but it is
Yeah.
literally painted on their walls here at Urban Techs.
Yeah.
So it's
So
not
we
just
talk-
something we're saying.
No, we're not. We practice it in the discipline part. We tell the kids all the time, if you can do to the power of discipline, how that number of discipline that you put into it is what you're gonna get out of
Yeah.
it. And that's how it works. That's how this works.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's amazing. But Ralph, I know with this one, this is probably
know.
going to be a multi-episode session.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah,
We're
go-
probably
no,
going to
that's
have a
awesome.
part 2 and a part 3 later on. But look, we want to give guys, come on in. There's a
Yeah.
couple of gentlemen out here who've been
Let's get 'em in here.
side producing. We'll pass the mic around. Let these guys introduce themselves. Here, take this chair. Knock yourself out. Take this
Yeah.
mic as well. So these are some of the guys who are part of Urban Techs or Urban TXT. We're gonna let them introduce themselves and give us a little bit of insight of some of the stuff they're doing here.
Yeah, man. So who wants to start off?
So my name is Abraham, Abraham Moratadeo, and I was on a team with Edgar for Harvest. We created like a mobile application, like that was an e-commerce platform for
Mhm.
people who grow produce in their backyard. And like the problem that we originally came up with was dealing with the excess
Mhm.
food because like when we did like the research, like these trees deliver like such big quantities of like fruits. Like I think it was like thousands of like apples just fall down from a tree like every year, like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And 40, like almost basically 50% of that goes to waste.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And so Abraham, Edgar, you guys were on that team, but let's give some love. Was there any other team members
Yeah,
involved? Can we get?
there was,
let's get some shout outs.
So yeah,
Yeah. Share the mic if you want.
we're divided into teams of 4.
Okay.
So and we're given our roles. So we have our designer for like the entire app,
Shout
Edgar
out, Edgar.
Ramos.
Shout out to my product manager, Caleb Macklett.
Our scrub manager, Michael Williams, and then I was our developer. So and then our product manager was Caleb, and so like us 4, we together built that, and then that's what we did.
Yeah. Awesome. No, good stuff, man.
My name is Miguel. The app that I made is called Renaissance. It's basically like a music production app where people will learn how to like create music in like a simplified way, and they will share it to like our own like social media app, and they can like get feedback. They can try to figure out like improvements, just like kind of understand like how music production works, and then how they can like gain that professionality of like actually becoming an actual music producer.
That's awesome. And
Spotify has worked with you guys, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Spotify, if you're listening.
Spotify, you're listening.
yeah, and let's get some shout outs. You have more team members? Teams of
Yeah,
four?
I do. So actually, I'd like to give a shout out to my developer Alex. He actually for this year, it was actually his third year being here. So he was quite developed. He knew what to do. He put in that work in. Also, my designer Diego, he was switched to my team, which he really like helped like us getting like that work done.
Yeah.
And also my scrum, Lucio. Oh no, actually my product manager Lucio. I helped him out because like I love business. He was a product manager, and like him learning, and then I'm like there with him. But like we got that connection as a brother. So it was kind of more him like kind of like learning the business, and I'm like there kind of just guiding him.
Yeah.
And also like him kind of extending and learning of like that business. So it's pretty.
That's really cool, man. That's awesome that you guys have teams, and I don't know if you guys even understand that like you guys learn so many skills from that, like leadership. You just talked about giving a shout out to Lucio and the other team members who are more tenured, and like they're leaders. They're leaders within your team, and now you're going to pass that on, and you've learned from that. That's really awesome. So prior to any podcast that we do, we always have little side conversations, and I really want to give a big shout out to the guys that are here because Hercules brought him in, and he even said it. He's like, "Hey, start listening to these guys, take notes, ask questions," and all of them were asking questions. You guys were all like, "Okay, like how do you do this? How do you do that?" I love seeing that. Ask all the questions that you can. Us old guys up here, learn from our mistakes and things like that. So I really appreciate that you guys are here. On a Saturday, on a football Saturday.
Yeah,
for me, that's like dang. But one thing too that I want to call out for you guys is I always give appreciation to my dad because my dad is my biggest hero, and I've learned so much from him. My dad had a ranch, and he would grow flowers, and every day after work, it wasn't you go home and I just sit around at home. When the workday ended, it was a few beers with the guys, hanging out with the older gentlemen. That did so much for my development.
Yes.
It's insane
Yes.
because I carried myself more like an adult because I would listen to adult men talk, and I saw you guys here just off camera, focused. Just listening, taking in the knowledge. Kind of what Raul was saying earlier. We may not have all the right answers, for better or for worse. Hopefully we can give you guys some knowledge. You guys are your own people, and grow from it, learn from it, take what you can, and hopefully it'll lead to future success. So I just want to give you guys a big shout out for being here and doing that.
And
Go ahead.
I'm not sure. I mean, we got gifts for you guys. Today. We got gifts for you guys.
So for those of you who are on YouTube, you're
Here,
going to
program.
see some little rubber duckies with the backward blue hat over on top of the X and the T. And right now, Edgar's passing these along. All right. So you said there's a story to our little rubber duck friends here.
Yeah.
So talk to us about this,
Yeah.
Hercules.
This is for you. So you can get it here. So we have little ducks. We're the little duck. There's the story behind the little duck is we teach it as a tool for youth to do self-reflection on what they're learning, or to do self-reflection on how to solve a problem. So when a lot of times the kids come to us, they say, "Oh, this is too hard. I don't know how to do it." Right? But we believe that everybody has knowledge, some type of knowledge. So we say to the duck, "Hey, here goes the duck. You got to talk to the duck and ask the duck, how can I learn HTML?" Right, and then you get a little seconds to think about how you're gonna do that, and eventually you see kids understanding like, oh, well, YouTube. And you just go look at it on YouTube. So it's just training them how to think, training them how to solve problems on their own. But also the story comes from a developer, a guy who was new into technology, and he says to the boss, "Hey, I don't know how to do this loop. I don't know how to do this." And the boss said, "Here, talk to the duck, and the duck became like ducking coating. Now, you heard this before? Yeah, ducking coating. It became that kind of.
That's awesome that you guys are using it at this level because
it's ducking coating.
For any of you, and I know there's followers of Los Golferos who are in the tech industry, and you go into any. Well, if you still go back to the office and you go into the developer section or the product section, you're always going to see little rubber ducks.
Oh, okay.
At least in some of the companies that I've been at, you always kind of see them hanging around. Yeah. So I was wondering if that was the reason behind it.
Yeah, the little ducks. We give everybody a little duck. I mean, the ducks are a huge part of our culture, learning how to think. You know, we spend a lot of time teaching them just sit down and think. It's important to be a thinker, you know, and to solve problems, you know, and be able to spend that time doing it. It's not about just checking boxes off, but understanding how am I going to think, the strategy behind it, what am I going to do, how am I going to do it. And the duck gives you a chance to reflect. So when they're in problems, you know, they can sit down and think. And the last thing about ducks is, you know, like people have known this for many times, is ducks look like they're very calm on top of the water.
Yep.
But what are they doing on the bottom of the water?
Their little feet are
moving.
Man, they're moving fast, right? They're going. So I think for us, for TXT, it's like we say, hey, we're gonna be chill, cruise through, but we're working. We're working.
That's an awesome mindset.
And we're getting through it, and we're solving problems, and we're doing great. You know,
that's awesome.
That's freaking amazing. So as we start winding it down, you might see on the whiteboard. If you do us a favor, follow on Instagram Urban TXT, URBAN TXT on Instagram. Guys, anywhere else we should be following you outside of Instagram?
Yeah. I think you know, if everyone who's out there, I wouldn't be doing my job if I don't say this, but go to our website www.urbantxt.com and donate. If you can donate, it costs us about $3,000 per kid to run the show. It's a nonprofit. It's deductible. December's coming around. You might need that deduction as well. So, hey, go ahead and donate. We are having an amazing hackathon coming up December 14th. So if you're a kid or you're in the LA area, want to come and hack away with us, you can. And I told Los Golferos, we do our hackathon where no one else will go. We do our hackathon in the projects of housing development projects. We do the hackathon in those areas. So we're doing it in the Nickerson Gardens in Watts this year. So follow us, hit us up, volunteer, donate, you know, either way, help out with Urban TXT.
That's awesome, bro. And what do I always say, guys? You're going to spend the money anyway on golf. So one less box of balls. Go play the noodles for one round, whatever it is.
Stop spending the money on the Pro V1 X's. You know, you don't need them.
You don't need
them. Not yet, too.
Until that tour, baby.
Yeah.
The senior tour, yeah, you get them supplied. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, guys, this has been a wonderful conversation. Once again, shout out to these young men that are in the room. Shout out to Hercules and your foundation and what you guys are doing.
Amazing work that you're doing with the youth out here.
Yeah, like he said, go follow, go support, and we'll see you guys at the hackathon, all right?
Yes.
All right.
I'm excited about that.
All right.
Well,
all right.
As always, salud, Golferos.